I'm Nellie Lemonnier. I want to give you a little introduction into my talk. Where did you pull that persona from? In this presentation, I'll show you a case study into personas that were made up by one of our product teams. And they use Larry, Mo, and Curly. More on them a little later, but the gist of it was they did create personas and they were very useful to the product team. However, they didn't really validate their initial personas hypothesis by doing research into these personas and their domain. The personas are used to unite the product team, which was achieved by this one team, and they're supposed to help reduce conjecture. They help the product team build the right product for the right people. And they're created typically from field studies is the way we create product personas. We go out and we talk to the people that we hypothesize perform the roles described by their personas. We need to do a little bit of domain research into understanding who are the people that we think we're building the product for and how do they interact with each other. And by doing the user observation, we really start to learn about these people's mental models and their behaviors and what's important to them, and takes us out of the realm of conjecture about what we think is important to them when we do actual field studies and talk to people practicing these roles. So we typically found, at least on my projects, that we do have to have an initial persona hypothesis based on our understanding of the roles and the domain, but then we really shouldn't stop there. We should really go out and talk to the people that we think are practicing this, because we learn so much more from speaking to them, and we actually create accurate personas this way. Again, I'm just going to go over a little bit of that content management system personas that were developed by one of our product teams. They came up with these personas from an understanding of the domain. So content management systems, aren't that hard to understand. They initially knew who was occupying that domain, but they didn't really go out and research these personas after the fact. So they had Larry, Mo, and Curly. And while they were able to unite the product team, which was a great thing, and that's what they did right, they gave them somebody common to talk about. However, the tasks that they defined for these personas weren't really accurate all the time. So, for example, they speculated that there was this content approver. And later when we did follow-on research, we found that wasn't true. So what was wrong with them was that they didn't really define, in addition to just the personas, what the motivating factors were for those personas. We didn't really understand from looking at the personas descriptions the level of domain expertise that each of them had. And it didn't really help to reduce conjecture because we didn't have a full understanding of what was important to these personas. And in addition, Curly, the little doggy on the right, he couldn't type very well, and his voice-to-speech skills were lacking. So when we did a second try at this, first we discarded Larry, Mo, and Curly, may they rest in peace. And then we started researching the domain through internal website managers that we had on board, was interviewed to understand the roles and the tasks. And that took about a day. And then we researched the specific roles through interviews, which took about 1 to 2 weeks. Most of that was just in lining up the correct people to interview. And then another week to synthesize the results. And this is what we came up with. Aaron, our front-end developer, Maya, the content editor, and Ed, the site administrator. And for each persona, we were able to understand their motivating factors, and their tasks were well defined. We knew what level of expertise they had and what was important to them. And like the first take, these product personas still united the product team. Just by creating new ones that everybody could believe in, both from UX and product management and the development team. Another case study I'll show you is we had Vera, who made a cameo appearance for a very short time as one of our product personas. And in the talk, I'll also describe why it's important to have personas and why so many companies take a shortcut in this critical step and they just make things up and then don't follow up with research, and how you can do research even quickly, like we had there, 2 to 3 weeks or even 1 week can be enough time to do the validating research. So thanks for reading and listening, and hope to talk to you soon.